Welcome to Film Study, an all-American podcast with Lexi. I'm Lexi, and another episode for our Olivia series. We discuss the aftermath of Spencer and Olivia's love confessions, the first one. We talk about that. So enjoy me, Carmen, and Manda talking about their love confessions. This was actually a request, so hope you enjoy it. I'm remembering this now because, again, Carmen is here. So don't forget to like and subscribe and share the video and do all of that. So I've said that, yeah. But we're talking about the aftermath of Spencer and Olivia's confessions, and we're going to do them both combined because, you know, there was a lot of aftermath, but there's small scenes between the two of them. Let's get into it. So let's go to Spencer first, since he confessed his love first.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm laughing at
what did you laugh at, Lexi?
Because we have been through this one, so we're going to do this real good.
Yeah, well, that's probably why we're laughing, because we were prepping for the show and we got into it, prepping. So who knows what this show's going to be, but yes. So Spencer, after confessing, as we see him, he's sitting on the little desk or wherever he was in the hotel, and he's contemplating life, like contemplating, why could this girl leave me like this? What is wrong with her? What happened? What's going on?
She's listening to this voicemail I just left for her.
Yeah, I hope she's listening to this voicemail. I'm trying to get her back. We'll see. I was about to say, I'm not gonna, Spencer, I'm gonna let you have that one. I'm trying to get her back. We'll see. And then Layla walks through the door.
Mm-hmm.
He gets a knock on the door, and it's Layla. Yes.
Yep. Here's a knock on the door. It's Layla. He notices that it's Layla. He's very clearly disappointed that it's not Olivia. And she goes into a whole monologue.
Yes, about her love for him.
About her love.
Yes.
He sits there. He listens to her. He does not interrupt. Does not interrupt her.
Mm-hmm.
At all, even though it was quite a long monologue.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Keep going. She did not interrupt her. Okay.
I just want to sit on that. What did you say? Moment of silence?
Just a moment of silence.
No, he didn't interrupt her. Okay, he let her get out.
He let her get it out. And by interrupt her, he wasn't just like, hold on, maybe we should slow down a bit. Anyway, ends up sleeping with her. Yes, Jason's sleeping with her.
Before he ends up sleeping with her, he contemplates the point where she's like undressing him and kissing him and everything.
Yes,
and then,
yes. Yeah, that's a good point, because we timed this thing out. Man, as soon as she starts kissing him after her monologue, so even more time for him to at least think, and he was thinking, like, we always just like, he's hurt, he's reacting, which is all very true, but he was also thinking about it.
Yes.
Because we saw him sort of contemplating this for a good 10 seconds, which in show world is quite a bit of time. So he thought about it for 10 seconds, and it was just like, yes, okay, I'm going to kiss her back. I'm going to do this. I'm hurt. And, again, it's understand he wasn't expecting that
But we don't know what he was thinking. We don't know what was going through his mind.
All we know is that he was hurt and that he wanted to feel comfort.
Yeah, and we did, and he didn't expect it to be Layla.
He didn't expect it to be Layla. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
And he made a half-hearted attempt to cut her off.
So we're just gonna point out, at the same time, he's processing that he had his hopes up. It was Liv. It wasn't Liv. Layla's in front of him, reminding him of this promise of waiting on her.
A promise he never remembered up until then. But go ahead.
Yeah, I give you that. I don't think he remembered that promise neither up until then.
I appreciate you giving that to me, twin, because it's fact. But go ahead.
Anyways, and so there's a lot going through his head. So we can't say like he was just
and I think it's important for him. And I say this, like, I completely understand he was hurt. And he was also still coming to terms with his feelings in that moment. I truly believe. Because I don't think that he knew that it really registered in his mind that he was in love with Olivia until the wedding. So this is all happening very, very soon. Just like, and we're not talking about her necessarily, but just like Olivia was thinking and what's going on, that was still in his mind as well. Like, what's going on? Oh my gosh, I have these feelings for my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And all, yeah, all that goes along with that.
Yes, very much.
So the next time we see them together is at the Black Lives Matter painting.
My favorite scenes. I swear, my favorite scenes.
We'll go ahead and intro it then.
Yeah, so I have no problem. Spencer, as we know, rolls up to Beverly to get his moment of time with Liv. Because I don't care what anybody says on this podcast or listening. He knew when Asher and Layla was coming into town. So he got that.
Mm-hmm.
We all agree. Well, on this podcast, we agree that
that's it. On this podcast or listening. I got to make sure the audience understand where we're coming from.
You're right.
So he comes, he sees Liv across the walkway here so often. Then he finds her on the steps.
Mm-hmm.
And with his smooth self, he tries to ease into a conversation. And the conversation begins with them Liv asking, "How are you doing?" Or did he ask how he was doing? Because I know his back is to the wall.
She asked him.
She asked him, okay, yeah, how you doing?
He started the conversation. He started the
conversation. She asked how.
Oh, okay.
How he's doing. We giving him that.
We didn't combat the fact that he started the conversation. He absolutely he went to the Black Lives Matter painting.
Just make
it. You Spencer fans, she got y'all. She holding y'all.
Exactly. She's like,
nope.
See, y'all just be pre-defending, and we haven't even said nothing yet.
Twin, give him his points. I know what she's saying. Twin, you better make sure.
We give him his points for coming to the Black Lives Matter painting, even though he didn't let her know. But
right, he showed up with his wingmate. And so then Liv asked him how he's doing. Then he proceeds to I'm laughing. He said, "Everything's good, but the fact that you've been avoiding me." Liv says, "My line that I love. And if I get it incorrect, let me know." I forgot the part where you came looking for me.
I must have missed the part.
I said, correct me if I'm wrong. I must have missed the part you came looking for me. And
and this was after, because this is something that I'm like noticing now that we have the context of almost the full season. We're up to 18 now. She rolled her eyes when he said,
"Yes, I decided to give you space."
Yeah, I just wanted to give you space before she said
yes.
She's good at the eye rolling, and she gave it to him. She gave it to him. And I always say it's a huff because she was like, "Okay, I need to go."
Yeah, and she started getting up. She gave the eye roll, and she started getting up as she was saying, "Must have missed the part where you came looking for me." All right, then gone.
So then, he's Liv. Does his little whisper of Liv. And he reaches for her. And then that's when she was like, "Space." Right.
It's correct call.
Right call.
Right call. So we got this moment of this aftermath. We've come to the conclusion they haven't spoken since Vegas. They have some form of miscommunication. He chooses not to come looking for her. She chooses not to call him, whoever you believe to be in the right. We all got different opinions on that.
Yeah.
But there's this moment of them trying to find themselves in their footing after Vegas.
Oh,
what does that look like?
For sure. And
okay, wait. I have just one question. So do you guys think that she had a problem with him not come looking for her?
Yes.
Yes, very much so. Why would she say the statement?
And here's the thing, and we were talking about this as we were rewatching.
No, because I'm gonna say, well, so do you think that she wanted him to come after her in Vegas then?
I said, so this is what I said in our last podcast with regards to her leaving the hotel. I said it was twofold. It was her thinking about whether or not she was coming back, and her also looking to see if he came out. I can't definitively say that she wanted him to come looking for her, but I can say in that moment she was questioning why he didn't when she made that statement.
Yeah. Yeah, I will also agree that I can't definitively say this. Like, this is all just like our opinions.
Right.
But I do think had he physically gone after her in that moment, we might have been having a different conversation. Might have.
Yeah, might have. Yes.
Might.
What about you? Do you think, since you asked the question, answer it yourselves?
I just try to figure out what was the eye rolling for. You know, like she did roll her eyes, and at first I thought it was because she went back, but apparently the writer's not going that way. So for me, I don't understand what the eye roll was about, because I don't think if she is upset with him for not come looking for her,
Yes.
I don't think she has the right to be upset.
Oh, yeah. So my thought was, again, after knowing the context that we know now through 18, is that when Spencer said, I was just giving you space, Olivia has known Spencer to be a guy that, like she said in Vegas, goes after what he wants. And yes, I know. He's the one who confessed. He's the one who did XYZ. But again, it's like, think about the template we were given for Spencer in a romantic context in season 1. Even though Layla, after they had their whole kiss, was like putting the brakes on him multiple times, he went to go find her. He left voicemails and he went to go find her several times. And so she's just like, giving me space. You're not the space type of dude. Even outside of romantic context, like, you will go to people and like make them talk to you. So I don't think in that moment, that she necessarily believed him about the space, or maybe she thought that he was hiding maybe some other reason. I don't know, but I don't think she fully trusted that space comment, which is why she rolled her eyes, which is why the conversation went a different way. Because again, and as we're talking about it right now, I'm just like, she wasn't sarcastic or rude or like unlive like, a little bit more guarded until that moment where he mentioned space.
Yeah, I totally agree with it. Totally agree.
So she was like, space is right. If you want space, space is right. Go ahead.
I'm gonna give you the space that you asked for.
I'm gonna give you this space, and then Asher's gonna come in a second. I'm gonna give him no space.
Show you what space looks like.
That pettiness.
I'll show you what not giving someone space looks like.
Liv can be petty if she needs to be.
She was petty. She was completely petty. And was she in the right to do this? She was in her feelings for sure.
Yes. She was in her feelings.
And I've always said I thought that she should have stayed and talked to him. So did she handle it in the right way? No.
But I'm gonna always ride for her. But she didn't.
Oh yeah. I was entertained nonetheless.
I was very entertained. Very entertained. I wasn't happy that she jumped on.
No, I was not happy with the outcome of it, but was it entertaining? Yes.
First she jumped on Chris and started a real drama fest. But
she did. She was like, I'm gonna kick this drama into high gear and jump on
the audience. Us as the audience, once we see him sleep with Layla, what she did, come on, I feel like she didn't do enough. But based off what the writers wrote, that she know nothing about up to this point, I just didn't understand what the attitude was about.
Right.
And again, I think it was because this is not the Spencer that she has known. Because he doesn't give people space.
Particularly, this is not the Spencer who presented himself in Vegas.
But no, this is not. This is the Spencer who you crushed when you left.
Say it one more time. What she do to him, twin?
Crushed.
Just crushed him, huh?
Yeah, she did. She did crush him. She crushed him. Now, did she have every right to not be right at that moment? Yes, but it still don't take away that he was crushed.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. But in her mind, she was like, I mean, I'm thinking this is in her mind.
Yes.
She was just like, whether or not I crushed you or not, or whether or not this affected you, I hurt you, you're not being the guy that I know you to be.
Yeah, but that's a selfish thought because
It's absolutely selfish. They
It's
were
very
both
selfish.
selfish.
If that's the case, she underestimated her crush. Maybe she didn't think she had the type of effect that she did.
I think that's correct. I don't think I have always said that I don't think that and again, these are my opinions. I don't think that she fully
say it
realized or thought that his feelings were true up until we have a whole conversation about this. Up until maybe the Never Have I Ever, for sure, post 9, she had a great understanding of it.
Yes, and we did a whole podcast on this.
Does Olivia know? Does Olivia know? She didn't feel like she could trust it. And so she's like, in my mind, I saw that as she is confused about whether or not Spencer got caught up in the moment. He didn't go after her. He left a voicemail. Yes, he left a voicemail. And then he, for 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, just let that sit. And this is not the Spencer that she knows who says he's in love. I mean, again, with Layla, he went after her with friends.
But he wasn't. He
went after Coop.
He was very deeply liked, and he liked.
Oh, I agree, but I'm saying from Olivia's perspective, we know that as an audience.
Yeah, but
can we also talk to the fact that his disappearance was not even a shocker to Liv, but it was a shocker to Jordan. Because Jordan was like, you were incognito.
Yeah. So, again, he was just out of character. And so she didn't, I don't think she was still, I think, reflecting on his feelings and whether they were real. And she was being a messy human.
Yeah, definitely. But she was like, it was all emotional. Everything that they did.
Oh, for sure.
After
it was
that
selfish, emotional.
Yeah, both of them. Because even him sleeping with Layla, that was some emotional crap. Like, come on, dude.
And speaking of sleeping with Layla, then we see, obviously, that they got back together with their respective. Well, technically, Asher wasn't an ex, but
yeah,
sort
I was about to say he wasn't an ex.
Basically, he was an ex because they broke up before that all happened. So anyway, they got back together officially with their people. But specifically let's touch on, I guess, the second scene.
Yes.
So the second scene was that Spencer was coming, quote unquote, looking for Jordan.
Oh crap! But go ahead.
And yes, looking for Jordan, and Liv comes down the stairs, and yeah, she's just like, why did you have or he said I should have knocked, right?
Yeah, he said, my bad, I was looking for Jordan, it's my fault.
I should have knocked. She said you have the key.
That is such an odd greeting. I mean, they were in a weird place, but now I'm like, that's
very
such a
weird
place. Very weird. Very awkwardness, and it's very weird.
So you could tell the tension between the two. This is randomly and Asher wasn't even downstairs at that point. He's just saying, I should have. It was just. What is this reminding you of? Do you want some water?
He was still in his feeling from school. So that was the whole I should have not jumped.
Oh yeah. He was not my home no more.
Yeah, you don't use this key. Yeah, you use this key all summer. You use this key all summer, and now it's not your home. But okay.
Yeah. And we talked about Liv being petty at that moment at the high school. He was being petty at that moment in the Baker's house.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely say they switched roles. So I think, Spencer was more open throughout the whole high school scene. I think Olivia was more open, and it got interrupted with Asher, and Spencer was more of the petty one in the second scene.
Yeah, because
how was she the more open one? I don't. How do you think she was the more open one in this scene?
Because I think that she was going to go talk to. I think that she was going to say something. She started saying something. She was like, Spencer, and it was just interrupted by Asher.
And also, I would say she was one more open because once he recognized Asher was upstairs with her and he was in his feelings and he decided to go to the door, she followed him.
Walked past her.
Walked past her. Wait, let me finish my point yet.
Go ahead.
And so she still tried to like start some type of conversation with him at the door.
Yeah.
So therefore, she was still open to having some type of conversation in the space. That's how I saw it.
So that's why I'm saying more open as opposed to.
I don't think, to me, I think that she was more realizing, at the school, of course, she jumped on Asher. She never really looked back at his face or looked back at anything. But in that moment, she got to see the hurt on his face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And then another thing, when she goes, is something wrong? Like, she's trying to figure out what really brought him by, because you haven't been by for weeks. So it's like, did something happen? Like, because he haven't been by the house in a couple weeks.
I love when you accidentally just reinforce our points.
We said all of this.
So you're admitting that she's confused because he hasn't been by in weeks.
But listen, I said in the first segment.
But listen, I never said that he hadn't been by. I said he had every right not to go by.
Oh, and we agreed. We agreed with that. But what you were saying, I'm so confused why she was so. We're just like, she's confused.
That's why he hasn't done what he normally does.
I both said they both moved off emotions. They was typical teenagers. They wasn't.
I had to mess with you, Carpet. I had to mess with you.
I know. Y'all see they jumping me. Somebody got to come help. But
I'm jumping you.
Y'all help me in the comment sections. I know y'all can
help me in the comment section.
Wait, you
tap
will
in,
never
tap
act
in.
like you're the innocent one in this trio.
I am.
Twin, you will never act like you're the innocent one.
Before every recording, they be like, "You better not." I'm telling you, they be threatening y'all. Help.
You're lying. So anyway, I still say again that she was the more open one, because he came in much like after that hallway scene when he was just like, you've been avoiding me. Oh, I must have missed the part. She's just like, why? You have a key. That was a really sort of normal thing to say. Like, you have a key. You don't need to knock or whatever. And he's the one that said, "It's not my home no more." So I do think that she was the more open one in that.
Yeah, she seen his hurt. That was his hurt on hood.
Yes.
Like,
they're both hurt, yes.
Yeah, he was being petty. Oh, this is not my home anymore, really? All summer? Okay, Spencer, just give her the key back and just go. Because he was hurt.
Exactly.
And instead of him just like, dang, okay, he's not going to say that. She's not going to say whatever she's feeling. So he's going to move off emotions.
And so what I've seen from the two of them in that first episode is that, and again, whoever's side you're on, we're going to break that whole deal down later on. But whoever's side you're on, is that both of them were beating around the bush. Mm-hmm. So instead of being direct about it, and instead of, finding the correct moments to talk about it with each other, because they both chose just horrible times.
They did.
Awful, ridiculous times. And then they were beating around the bush about it.
And they took that to the hangout.
They took it to the hangout because
See, I got you.
I love when y'all come through with the transitions.
So
they get to the hangout, and I'm certain that Spencer saw them.
Yeah, at first I thought it was only that he saw Jordan and Asher. I agree with you now that he also saw Liv.
Yeah.
Because he looks down, and I don't think I noticed it before either, but because we just rewatched it, but he looks down.
He hurt.
After he looks through the window. And what purpose would he have to look down if he just saw Jordan? And maybe it's because of the awkwardness, but he walked in and he was just like, "No, y'all know you're still my boy." So it wouldn't be like that.
It wouldn't be them.
Affected him.
Yeah, he saw Liv.
He definitely saw it, because even after that, it wasn't until he got into the place where he realized that they were upset with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, he sold it. We're going with that. And Layla came through like an innocent little deer.
I never call her innocent little deer.
She was innocent. She was innocent.
In this
I will never. I'm
scene,
gonna tell you, I can never call her an innocent little deer. I will
that's
say she
fine.
was.
She was an
She was
innocent
not.
little
She,
deer
she
She
was
was
not
innocent
in
in
deserving.
this
this
scene.
situation. Yeah.
In
This
this
whole
scene, just
situation.
unknowing about what she was about to get herself into.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, it hurts. Because as soon as Spencer's looking down, when he looks up, the first thing he sees is Layla, and Layla trying to be like, "Oh, I try to give you a heads up, etc., etc." And he,
At least somebody know how to communicate. But go ahead.
and that part, and he is. I I say this because I like to exaggerate a little bit, but he was looking at her like she was a piece of meat. He was just like, "Yeah, yeah, you made me feel better in Vegas."
Not only that, let me lie to you beforehand because he said that she said he was busy with Cam. That's why he didn't respond to her
Yeah,
text.
trying to
So
be
you was
smooth.
getting your heart crushed by Liv, and you just
Yes.
want to admit to the fact that that's where you were.
That's where you were. Mm-hmm. But also, just like Vegas, he just looked through the window and got his heart broken again. And there go Layla. So okay, come on.
It's just
You
sad.
I'm a numb. He numbed himself with Layla.
Yeah, so again, we both see their issues with communication because again, he is the one that walked out the door that time in the second scene. She walked away first, he walked away second, and it was just a back and forth ping pong game of who can hurt who the most.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so
Oh, it
he,
was a game of who more like we're both fine. It's fine. It's fine. That's the
yeah,
game. He was
yeah,
like,
and
I'm
then
fine.
hurting
You're
other people
fine.
in the process.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Disgusting.
yep.
Just like Asher did with Liv, he trying to have a conversation, and she over here like, well, maybe, we can just kiss. We don't need to talk. I don't want to hear your voice. I just need to imagine that you're Spencer. And
Oh goodness.
Imagine that he's censored.
Yes, because I still think, even though he slept with Layla, I think in his
Don't
mind
you do it.
he was with
Don't you say
Liv.
it.
He was with
I was
Liv.
because if you say that, I will say my famous term or my favorite statement. You better not say.
Say it. I already said it.
What did you say?
I said to me in Vegas, he in his mind he imagined Liv.
Oh, that's because I always say he tried to find Liv's love between her legs. Don't play with
Oh,
me.
well,
Do not play with me.
he say it. Say it. I told you
But
maybe
you
he'll
know
say
he's
it.
trying to find Liv love between her thighs. I don't think,
So-
in that
Go
particular
ahead.
moment, I don't think he was replacing Liv with Layla's, like in that imagery. He knew he was sleeping with, but for some reason he's just trying to find Liv's love between her thighs. Don't play with me. You will
Okay.
and he
not
was
do
trying
that.
to find Liv's love
Not do
in
that.
Layla's mouth this time
Yes. So
as he
do
was
not play
kissing
with
her.
me.
And Liv
Goodness.
saw this, and again, a ping pong table of who can hurt who the most. Liv saw it, looked down, was very upset about it. The next time, and then he goes. This is part where it's usually skipped over. He goes
Say it. Just say it.
and brings Layla into the hangout.
And to the table where Liv is sitting.
To the
You
table where
petty
Liv is sitting.
little knucklehead.
He was on his. He was being
And this
petty
was,
too.
and what did we notice this time? He was scratching himself. He was itching because he knew what he was doing was wrong.
Completely wrong.
Just like Liv was touching the bottle because she knew what she was doing was wrong because they were both
Yes.
guilty. Because again, they were both just trying to hurt each other. Y'all thought this was going to be a roast of Spencer. No, it's a roast of Spencer and Olivia.
Yes.
We're doing it both.
And this would be like the first time where we really like Poe, Asher, and Layla because they had no clue what they
Well,
was a
it's
part
time.
of.
being
I am
used.
never for Asher nothing. For
Yes.
Layla, I will give. I'm never
I
for
pour
Asher
Asher
nothing.
too. I pour Asher too because he didn't know.
No, I
He didn't-
think because he was as horrible. I don't. Again, they weren't being fair to the people that they were.
That part I'll give, but I'm never for Asher and nothing. Not my mouth.
So yes, so then we know that Liv or Liv says to Layla later on, like, "Oh, you and Spencer," which again nods back to their communication because she didn't ask Spencer about that. She goes to
Mm-hmm.
Layla and she's just like, "Oh, you and Spencer, huh?"
Maybe she was doing what Spencer did to Layla. They both did it to Layla.
They both. Oh
Gather
my god!
information.
And
They
you're talking about Layla
did.
wasn't a deer?
She's still not a deer in her life for me. But still,
No,
they
I'm
both
sorry.
were.
Episode. They people talk about Liv gaslighting Spencer later on in the season. Both of them gaslighted the heck out of Layla.
I love
Like,
Layla.
Very much
Yes.
so. Very much so.
it's actually sick to think about it. But
It,
wow. Because we think about the fact that we're like, oh yeah, like they hid this secret from her. No, they weren't just hiding this secret from her. They were like using her
information
to
from
get
her.
information.
Yep.
Yes.
About the
And then
other.
lying to her
Mhm.
several times when she would ask them about what's going on with you and Spencer. What was
Well,
that?
actually, they wouldn't call it a lie. What they did was they just substituted it with another truth that they had.
A
To
Yeah,
half
make
they
truth.
added
it
it.
more.
Yes.
Both of them told her half truths.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then they added some extra
disgusting.
stuff to it that distracts her. They go, okay, I'm gonna tell you part truth, and then I'm gonna change it to something else.
You know what? Layla has every right to be upset. Now I'm thinking about
Absolutely. Absolutely.
She's every day. I
she
want her
better
to be
not
so
come in
upset.
19 and be like, all's forgiven. Because now that we're detailing this, I'm like,
No, Lexi, I want her to be so upset with Liv that she forgets all about living as a friend. I
I'm
want
not
her.
saying all that.
Woo,
No,
preach.
she
Come on.
loves her
She
friends,
has
so
every
she's
right to be
going
so
to
upset
she's
in
gonna
her
forgive it
bag.
all. She loves
Come
her
on.
friends, so she's gonna
Go
forgive it
ahead.
all.
Go ahead.
So
Say it
she
again,
got every
Manga.
right to forgive. I mean,
Yes.
be upset.
You said nope. You said it right the first time. We're cutting it off there. We're taking that and running. So anyway, yeah, Liv asked Layla about her and Spencer, and she was just like, "Yeah, it kind of happened in Vegas. Vegas,
But I
wow,
wasn't sure.
Vegas, huh? Liv turns around and look at him.
Vegas."
Mm.
Mm.
And as we transition into Olivia's, because we're doing both of them at the same time, obviously we're going to touch on the crash, the manipulation. One thing that is crucial is that when that applies to his confession is in the after the crash we get Spencer's flashbacks, and one of those flashbacks is Olivia drinking in the hallway, totally fine. He was looking at her, and then at the hangout when she was sitting down with Layla. And at first, when it first aired, I was just like, no, Spencer was at the pool table. Why are they showing that flashback? And I'm like,
That's because that man was looking at her.
because
He
that
just
man
didn't try to
was
break into Layla,
so
and he
not
was still
only
looking
did
at
he
Liv.
sit Layla at the table.
Yeah,
But was it surprising? It's not surprising. After
It's
watching
not
the whole
surprising.
season,
it's
and he
not
walked around like
surprising,
he
but
was comfortable.
once it connects, you're
But
like,
once it connects, you're just
you're
like,
like, wow.
that is sick. And it just staring at Olivia, paying attention to Olivia. Not even the girlfriend that he just got back together with.
But with the girl he's in love with, what's she do?
What's her facial reaction now that I've sat Layla at this table?
I think he was like, okay, she want to pretend like nothing happened. Let's do it. But he was being petty. But he was like, let's do it.
Here's the thing though, and I say this to Jason or anybody who wants to get in it to me with the comments. If he wants to go petty, Liv will go petty with him. She will match that energy.
She did several times.
She will
She
switch
did.
the energy, match the energy any day. She be like, let's do this.
They
Let's
did.
do it.
They was very petty throughout the season of the first half. They both were.
Yes. Very much so. I will
Facts,
match
facts,
your
facts.
energy, sir, and switch it on you. Don't play with me. That's what she be telling them. Play with me.
And so then we get to Olivia's bit.
Mhm.
So, yes, Olivia confessed her love.
Mhm.
And as we know, she has not been sober this entire time. And so but anyway, she crashes the car,
Yes.
regardless of what it was.
We
She
had to watch
crashes the
that.
car.
Yes.
And, part of that was due to her drinking and her driving while drinking, driving drunk. Um, yeah, so she crashes the car. They could have been injured. They were not. I had to add that. Naomi, I still love you.
Yes, but you had to.
You know I had to add that in.
goodness.
You had
Uh,
to.
for the rest of the episode, she is just a gaslighting, manipulative machine.
Woo.
Right off the bat.
Because
Right
at the
off the bat.
crash, that's when she informs him that she's not sober.
She's not sober.
Yes.
What is it? He asked her several times, how much have you
Yes.
had to drink? And she does
And he
not
called
answer
her
him.
Olivia, so he was upset. He was
Yep.
upset.
She's Russian and she's just like, they won't see. Like they won't care. You can take the sobriety test.
She was
you
just
haven't been
talking.
drinking. So
Mhm.
everything's gonna be fine.
I know you got a lot of questions. But we don't have time for it.
we don't have time because like the
Mm-hmm.
police are here. You have to switch with me.
It's okay. He wasn't drinking. She was just gone. Like she was not
Literally
even.
just any type of things you can find to say.
Yes.
Anything at that moment.
Rewatching that scene, I honestly, people were like, Spencer was about to say. I honestly feel like they were both just biding their time. Like nobody was ever going to admit to trying.
They were not.
No,
Neither
there was
of
a
them were.
moment he was. It was a moment he was because he said,
I don't think so.
I
He
don't
was
think-
like
yes.
officer. He was still stalling.
He
That
was
was both of them
he
were
was.
stalled. They had the spirit of stalling.
They had the
No.
spirit of stall of figuring out what was
He
gonna happen.
was. He
I
was.
don't
He
think.
would have.
I don't think.
Yes.
I don't think he was gonna do it.
No.
Mhm. We're just glad he didn't have to.
Yeah, we're glad he didn't have to.
And we get to the point where they find out it is Laura's car. And so Laura picks them up.
Laura's car. Laura picks him up. She's like, I'm happy that you all were safe. Olivia's like, oh, chill, good, okay. Don't have to worry about this. I'm good. I'm in the clear. And Spencer's like, hold up.
Hold up.
You're not going to tell your
Exactly.
mom? You're not going to tell your mom you were drinking? And she's like, oh, for what?
Right.
Relapse. I just
I had one little drink. Just lying.
She said, I'm not so many times. She was like, I'm not an alcoholic. It's like, Liv, did anybody mention anything about being an alcoholic? I think that you're projecting because you are, in fact, one. No one's calling you one, but you're saying that about yourself.
And she proceeded to inform him that she took a sip and for her courage to tell her that she loved him.
It was so horrible.
At that particular time, when I first saw this scene, I screamed her name as if she was an actual person in my house. And I was like, you don't stop. Olivia.
Right.
That line of
oh my God. Like, and she was letting it
utterly
flow.
ridiculous. Utterly, and she was so annoying, bro. She was so annoying.
Olivia was letting them lie. Low boy. She was like, I had one drink. I was so nervous about telling you this, but I'm fine.
Maybe I should kiss you because then you're not going to think about it.
Right? But wait, you got to say the words. You got to say it. But remember, nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed. She literally had that boy wrapped. I don't care what nobody
pulled
said.
Him closer, pushed him back. This man
kissed him, rubbed their forehead together. There are certain people on Twitter, I'm not putting their name up here, who loves that particular scene because we don't see much, as Kendra would say. We didn't see much, but it was still the whole manipulation and her controlling of that kiss. She had that boy under control.
I hate that kiss. I like that kiss ain't never happened.
But she had that boy under control, and I loved everything about it because I thought that was funny as heck.
It was very funny.
Because he was completely lost.
All of their angst is funny. Like I said, all of their angst is very entertaining.
It's very entertaining because he was completely lost. Because she literally, she used her hands. She did one of him. Used her hands, grabbed their hands, decided to kiss him, cradle his head, do all the things she needed to do, and send him on his way.
But when she pulled away, his face didn't say he was buying it to me. His face did not say he was buying it. That's to me. I don't feel like he was buying it.
I don't think he was buying it completely, but I do think he was.
I think he was satisfied.
I think he was satisfied for the moment because he didn't.
No, he was happy about the kids.
The next, he didn't bring it up till the next morning when he was like
working out.
Hey, you lied to me.
He had been thinking. Mm-hmm.
You lied to me, Olivia.
When he called her, I still the chemistry they have over the phone was just
It
amazing.
was so angsty, bro.
It was so amazing because I don't even think they were on the set together.
I wish the audience could like see me putting my phone to my head because both of them were like, just.
They were so stressed. Yes, they nailed that scene. They nailed
They
it.
did, they
They
did,
know.
and she was just like, you know this, but my favorite part was when she said when he was just like, "You lied to me," and she was just like, "Who told you that? They're lying."
She said, "No." He said, "You've been drinking all summer. Who told you that?" I'm like, "God, nobody ain't
Girl,
who have told
you're the only one
this?
who knows.
Right?
You can't even keep up with your lies. Well, she hasn't been able to keep up with her lies, as we know since the beginning of the season.
What?
But
Who I
Girl.
don't know. Do somebody else know that we don't know about? Because she's like, who told you that? Who
clearly,
knows, Olivia? Who
maybe it was the girl from early on. What was her name?
No, that was her paranoid. She was paranoid.
She was like, the girl from AA found you in AA.
Even though you never met her day in your life, and I don't know how she would know who you is.
Who told you? Was it Leslie? I know she hasn't been answering my calls, but
Did you talk to
looking
Leslie?
around like, oh, what? Leslie, is that you?
Oh gosh.
But
Oh my god.
during that conversation, that's when he told her, "You have to tell your parents. If not, I will." And to this day, all three of us, unless we've changed, we agreed he did the right thing.
Oh, absolutely.
And doing so. And we get the dinner scene.
And it was so heartbreaking. Yeah, we get the dinner scene where I was gonna say it was heartbreaking after the dinner scene, but we get the dinner scene where Simone and Jordan are thinking about telling the parents that they're married.
No, not Simone.
Jordan.
Yeah. They're thinking about it. Simone is being like, I'm thinking no, and Jordan's like, I'm thinking yes.
That's more. There you go. That's more right there.
And Spencer starts to talk, and then Olivia jumps ahead of him. It's just like, I had a drink. I had a singular drink. It was basically a sip, actually.
But I got it under control. She was
I called my sponsor. Ooh. I'm figuring it out. I'm good now. Basically, it's like I've been to rehab already, so there's no need to worry.
I'm just telling you this for no apparent reason,
This girl was really messed up.
She was.
So then, obviously, Laura is pressing further, and she, Billy's like just accepting it because we already know he's sad.
She's like, wow.
And Laura, exactly. She's like, I'm so proud of you. And Laura's like, do you not notice Spencer, your son?
They're gonna pay this. It's just dripping.
It's late, y'all. There's no filters this time. Did you not notice Spencer, your son, is looking a little guilty over there? So she was like, Spencer, what's going on? Tell me the truth.
And like, that it? Yeah, he did.
He did. And so he told the family that she had been drinking since the summer. And we all know how that ended up.
Yeah, that she was drinking last night.
Yeah.
Like, he was drinking and driving?
Yeah.
Olivia.
That whole blow up happened with them, mostly with Billy. Billy was the one who blew up for the family. And anyway, the next time we see them is when she post listening to the voicemail from her dad. Had to add that in there for context.
She was so remorseful and crying in her car.
Yep, crying in her car. Comes to see Spencer. Now I'm going to say this, Carmen. Do not come for me.
Go ahead. I can't promise you.
I got you, Lexi. Go ahead, do it.
Yeah, see, told you they be jumping me.
In my head, it makes sense as a viewer from what I've seen on the screen. I don't just in my head. It makes sense from what I've seen on the screen, having watched that the only thing that makes sense to me, given that the first thing that Spencer said when he opened the door is, "Can I get you some water?" The only thing that makes sense to me is that Olivia gave him a heads up that she was coming.
No.
Okay, twin. If she didn't give him a heads up, then your boy Spencer's the most cold-hearted person I've ever known.
Facts.
What? Because
there's only two options for that.
There's only two options. No, Carmen. So let me explain.
Go ahead.
Because they have been looking for this girl all day. His mom is even looking for her, And the first thing he says is, "Can I get you some water?" Not how you doing, have you been home, any of that. That means he's one of those cold-hearted people in that scene.
No. The last time,
why?
before that moment, the last time he saw her was at the dinner table. And
he knew everybody was looking for her because his mom went out looking for her because she's been.
But wait, listen. But wait, the last time he saw her was at the dinner table, and the last time, which she wasn't too happy with him about. So everybody's worried. She shows up, and he don't know what to say. He's letting her do most of the talking to fear her out. So he's like, "You want some water?" Because he doesn't know what to say. He doesn't know where her head at. He doesn't know. So "You want some water?" And then he just let her talk to fear her out.
What kind of question to kill out a person is that? Do you want some water?
But that's somebody who don't know what to say. So they say something like, "Do you want some water?"
Right. Because everybody's been looking for you for hours, including my mom.
It just doesn't make sense.
The first thing I'm gonna say is some water.
If they have if they done called, whatever they did a ton. Like, we know this happened. We didn't see it on our screen, but what is it?
Looking for
Grace. Layla has found out by Laura at this point. Everybody is looking for this girl. And everybody's worried about this girl. And the first thing that comes out of his mouth,
"Do you want some water?"
Because he didn't know what to say.
What's the first thing that came out of Jordan? I'm sure Jordan was confused too. But he was like, "Liv, where are you? Where are you?"
Right.
But that was different. He was calling her. This is ours. Okay, like I said, he haven't seen her since the dinner, and now she shows up.
So not where have you been? If he hasn't seen her since the dinner,
he haven't. So he don't know what to say. That's why you notice she do majority of the talking.
That is giving him a lot of slack for asking.
Slack.
That's not
The
slack.
first time.
No, the fact that you want to say she texts him to beat him up.
I said it makes sense in my head that she texts. I said there's only two options: that she texts him or that he's a cold.
I was only two.
And I said it was his cold.
That's y'all two options. That's not just the only two options. That's just the two that you guys want to consider. That's not
the only two that I'm acknowledging.
No. Okay. Well, don't say it's only two. It's only two you choose to acknowledge. Just like I say, he texted the family and told them that she was
Oh my God.
You don't want to
So
know
why were they
right?
shocked, Carmen?
Exactly. See,
this man was not shocked to see Liv at all. And her family was shocked to see her.
They wasn't shocked. They wasn't shocked. They
collapsed around her. They were so shocked. They were shocked.
No, they wasn't shocked. They wasn't shocked.
I love how you're just he didn't know what to say. He didn't know what to do. A genuine human reaction is to be frantic in that moment.
No.
Fight or flight. It's like, I will not accept it. Anyway, regardless of if she texted him or not.
And he texted them. Go ahead.
And regardless of if he texted him or not later. She came in. She said, we're going to run through this quickly because we don't need to rehash the whole thing. We know what happened.
I've seen this so many times.
But she basically said, I want to go home. I need you to come with me because I can't face my family alone. And he said no. And she was just like, but why? I thought you said you loved me. And he was just like, where was your love for me when? You almost got us killed. Or whatever he said. And he's like, nope, you got to take this next step on your own. And she left the room. He said, are you going to be okay? But she left the room being like, I have people looking for me, and it's my fault that you were not one of them. And earlier she said, you deserve better. So she left. He stayed. When she walked out the door, he cried. And that is the aftermath of her confession.
Go ahead, Carmen. Go twin.
Yeah, go ahead. You have the floor.
That's it. I was just surprised. I thought for sure you was gonna stop and be like, he let her take. So that's why I was laughing.
That he decided not to offer an opportunity to make sure she got home safely.
That's still very true.
It's very true.
No,
we can talk about it if you want.
Yes, but we talk about it often. You know we do.
Yeah,
So-
we definitely do, and you guys still wrong, so it's okay.
We're wrong about him not ensuring. Okay, I'm not. We're not even gonna get into it. That's a whole nother thing.
Because audience, we literally argue about this every Saturday.
Every
Literally.
Saturday, every
We argue about
Saturday,
it every Saturday.
faithfully.
Faithfully.
But we just saying that he did the right thing. That's just all. That's how we can end it. That he
Did
did
the
the
right
right thing.
I am saying that he did 99% correct.
Right, you are not
Right.
switching that narrative from us. Stop.
He did everything right.
He did 99%
Because here's
correct.
what you will know, twin. Spencer James will never do everything right for me. So don't even put those words in my mouth.
He did everything right. Mind the people already know you was crying over 18. It's okay. It's okay. It's out of they know.
I was not
no.
crying over
You no
Spencer
longer have to
James.
pretend. You don't have to. They
I
was
was
happy
not
to hear
crying
it.
over Olivia. I had a real problem.
And you know, if he did everything right, you think that he would have brought up her recovery sooner than what? How much?
18.
How many? 9 episodes? Almost 10.
And then if you want to know how we talk about that, you can definitely watch that podcast.
Yes.
Go
follow that.
Listen to it.
Available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast platform. But I will say this. In terms of bigger screw up post confession,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately I have to give the crown to Olivia on that one.
I'm never going to give my sister that type of crown. Never happened. Never will. Never
That's
will.
That's over there with she'll never say Asher.
Yeah, Asher was
That's all in
poor,
the same
poor
box.
Asher,
She's
yeah.
never certain things she's never gonna say.
Never, ever, never, ever.
Yeah. But you know, with that being said, even though she did screw up royally, she also apologized that very same episode.
Absolutely.
So she went through her whole arc of being the bigger screw up and then apologizing readily. Whereas has Spencer yet to apologize?
And
No,
wait, though,
he does not apologize for anything.
Even though
He hasn't even.
her judgment was clouded.
He's
Her
not
judgment was
apologized
clouded.
for anything yet.
Did he even apologize to Layla when they broke up?
No.
Which, by the way, she broke up with him also.
She did not. He just told her what happened. He gave a slight apology, but he didn't really.
He was just
apologize.
like, I wanted to give you what you wanted. Ooh, that boy.
I wanted to honor that. Boy, I would have punched you in your eye if I was Layla. But that's a whole other issue.
But even giving Olivia that title, you still have to, we still have to acknowledge that she was not herself. She was not.
Exactly. Yeah.
I never acknowledged that.
No,
I'm just not okay.
I'm just not okay with just leaving it right there. I love me some Olivia. You don't want to punch in.
Oh, we all do. I'm glad that you added it because now
I
the
just
audience
don't give her titles like that. I will give her the fact that she was a mess and she wasn't herself. I will give you that. I am not a person who's like, oh, she doesn't make any mistakes. I've never been that person. I'm just not giving her that title.
I was giving her the title only to say the gravity of it was larger with
her. I wasn't giving her that title.
And yes,
we know
she was not herself. She was
Olivia could have blew up the school, and Monday's not gonna give her that title.
Not at all. But yeah, but Spencer was still messed up.
Yes.
Very messed up.
Sometimes you be like Monday, she ain't real, right? I know we love her.
Oh no, I very much know that she's fictional. Unlike some people, I can very know she's fictional.
It was a joke. Don't say that. They're real. Don't say that.
What? That she's fictional?
No, don't say that.
She's
they're real.
Definitely a fictional character.
Yeah,
they're real.
Some people do believe that they're real characters. Particularly my twin, who's upset with me because of some things I say. She sometimes believes they're real, but they're fictional in every sense of the word.
Yes. Well, those are the confession aftermaths. You can see this took a whole. We were supposed to do 40 minutes. I think we're way past 40 minutes.
Hey, it's all love.
It's all love. And again, though Olivia's gravity was larger, Spencer was still
a mess.
Very, very much. Because that was just between him and Spencer. But what he did to Layla, that's a whole nother on his own.
Her gravity was larger. He hurt the most people.
Yes.
Yep.
So how about that? They'll share the crown.
Ow.
I can't
share the crown
I
because
just won't give her a title. Yeah.
yeah. I'm taking that back. She doesn't get the title. They're sharing the crown because they were both a mess.
A mess.
Throughout season 3.
Mm-hmm. It was entertaining though, but they were a mess.
It was very entertaining. So yeah. Awesome. So that's our breakdown, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Film Study, an All-American podcast, and see you next time.